Do you live in Oklahoma? Or have you visited lately? Be honest, when you look around today, what do you see? Now imagine this same land 150 years ago, before highways, before noise, before statehood. These rare photographs will show you an Oklahoma you won't believe once existed.
Students branding cattle, Seeger Colony School, 1900. Young hands grip ropes and irons under a wide Oklahoma sky, learning ranch skills in the dust of Seeger Colony. Education here was not confined to books. It was survival, discipline, and the slow forging of a new frontier identity. Arriving train, Shawnee, 1900. Steam and stone mark the dawn of a new age in Shawnee. The clock tower stands proud beside the arriving train, time and progress bound together, announcing that Oklahoma's frontier spirit was ready to meet the modern world. H.C. Schilling Butcher Shop, Broadway, Oklahoma City, 1898. Inside Schilling's butcher shop, heavy cuts of beef hang from hooks as sunlight filters through the window. Aprons dusted with sawdust and pride, these men stand where necessity met craftsmanship, feeding a fast-growing city on the edge of the 19th century frontier. J.M. Hall Family, Tulsa, 1896. J.M. Hall stands with his wife and children before their wooden storefront, General Merchants. Tulsa was still a frontier outpost, yet within families like this one burned the ambition that would soon ignite an entire city's rise. Cotton Market, Guthrie, 1896. Wagons crowd Harrison Avenue as Guthrie's cotton market bursts with trade and noise. Farmers unload heavy bales while merchants haggle and clerks jot down weights and prices. The air is thick with dust and ambition. This is prosperity in motion, the heartbeat of a young city built from open prairie. U.S. Post Office, Fort Sill, 1895. Inside the wooden post office at Fort Sill, men exchange letters that link distant hearts across the plains. Each envelope carried more than ink. It carried hope, orders, and news from a young nation stitching itself together one message at a time. Broadway Street, Round Pond, 1894. Outside a modest storefront marked Furniture and Undertaking, townsfolk gather beside a horse-drawn wagon. In this blend of life and death trades, we glimpse the raw duality of frontier existence, where survival meant building, serving, and burying within the same day's dust. Round Pond from Courthouse Square, 1894. From the Courthouse Hill, the town unfolds across the flatlands, rows of shacks, wagons, and wind-whipped streets stretching toward the horizon. It's a young Oklahoma breathing its first ambitions beneath a boundless sky that seemed to promise everything and nothing at once. The English Kitchen, Round Pond, 1894. For 20 cents, settlers could escape the chill of the plains and share a warm meal at the English Kitchen. Beneath its hand-painted sign, laughter and coffee steam rose together, small luxuries in the hard dawn of Oklahoma's story. Kelly's Saloon, The Bijou, Round Pond, 1894. Outside the Bijou, townsfolk gather beside kegs and wagons, pausing from toil to share drink and stories. In this simple saloon, laughter echoes through the raw frontier, a fleeting moment of joy amid the long labor of building Oklahoma from dust. Central Hotel, Round Pond, 1894. Men and travelers stand before the new Central Hotel, a proud wooden landmark amid the prairie wind. Its tall frame promises comfort to the weary, a refuge of beds, stories, and ambition on Oklahoma's ever-shifting frontier. Land Office and Surveyors, Round Pond, 1894. Three men stand firm before a freshly painted office advertising claims bought and sold. Their boots rest on newly claimed soil, where law met ambition. These surveyors and lawyers shaped not only property lines, but the fragile promise of Oklahoma's expanding frontier. Broadway Street, Round Pond, 1894. Merchants and townsfolk lined the wooden sidewalks of Broadway Street, the pulse of Round Pond's frontier commerce. Butchers, restaurateurs, and dreamers stand before their hand-painted signs, proud faces beneath wide hats, building a town one business, one handshake, one hopeful morning at a time. Meat Market, Enid, 1893. Captured just months after the Cherokee Strip land run, this photograph shows a butcher standing before his shop in Enid. His modest wooden storefront labeled Meat Market served settlers who had only recently claimed the surrounding land. Proof that civilization was taking hold on the open prairie. Newspaper office, Hardesty, 1893. In this windswept scene stands the Hardesty Herald newspaper office, a small wooden structure symbolizing civilization's first foothold on the frontier. Its lone editor poses proudly in the doorway, printing news for settlers scattered across the vast plains. A reminder that even in isolation, every town sought a voice.
Today, at this very moment, history is alive before your eyes. These are not just photographs, they are fragments of real lives. Don't just watch, join the journey through all 50 states. Subscribe now and travel with us. The first drugstore in town, Enid, 1893. A proud crowd gathers before the Cherokee Pharmacy and the offices of Havens, Orner, and Watson, symbols of progress in a freshly claimed frontier town. The painted signs promise drugs, paints, and sundries, echoing the settlers' determination to bring order, medicine, and law to the raw heart of Oklahoma. Parade on Broadway, Oklahoma City, 1893. Broadway comes alive as a parade winds its way through the young city, banners waving above the dust. Townspeople lean from balconies and gather along wooden sidewalks to cheer. Proof that only 4 years after its founding, Oklahoma City had already grown into a place of pride and celebration. Harrison Avenue, Guthrie, 1893. Dust swirls between brick storefronts and wagons along Harrison Avenue. Guthrie's heart beats with commerce and promise. Signs for dry goods and trunks hang proudly as settlers stroll beneath them, unaware they're walking through the first capital of a soon-to-be American state. T.J. Archer Store, Tulsa, 1893. Residents gather outside T.J. Archer's General Store, the heart of early Tulsa. Beneath its wooden awning, trade and conversation flow as freely as the frontier wind. Here, community begins. One sale, one neighborly greeting, one dusty handshake at a time. First Waterworks of Perry, 1893. Workers gather around wooden rigs and tanks, the Martin brothers' proud creation, bringing the first running water to Perry. In the dry frontier air, this system meant more than progress. It was life itself, flowing through the veins of a newborn town. Early day El Reno, 1890. Crowds and wagons fill the dusty square of early El Reno, captured from the corner of Choctaw and Woodson. Horses stamp and settlers trade under open sky, a raw frontier town just awakening, its streets still more pasture than pavement, yet alive with promise. Lee's Millinery Store, Kingfisher, 1890. Inside Lee's Millinery Store, elegant hats rest beneath lace curtains and framed portraits. Women gather at a round table, their laughter soft amid the hum of a new town finding its rhythm. Here, refinement bloomed early, proof that beauty always follows courage on the frontier. Bickford Avenue, El Reno, 1890. A quiet morning on Bickford Avenue shows a town just beginning to rise from the earth. The muddy street cuts through wooden storefronts and brick ambitions, symbols of settlers who refuse to wait for comfort. El Reno's frontier calm hides the pulse of a place ready to flourish. 3rd Street, Bartlesville, 1890.
Men labor knee-deep in clay, laying the first bricks of 3rd Street. Their shovels bite into the earth as horses wait by the curbs, the town rising one street at a time. Bartlesville was still raw and restless, yet already shaping itself into something enduring. Bassett Block, Oklahoma City, 1890. The Bassett Block rises proudly at Main and Broadway, its sharp brick lines marking the city's ambition. Crowds fill the dusty street, wagons creak, and horses wait under striped awnings. This was Oklahoma City's declaration. It would no longer be a camp of tents, but a place built to last. Early street scene, Oklahoma City, 1890. Wagons jam the muddy street as settlers crowd beneath canvas tents and wooden storefronts. The air hums with barter, horses, and hope. A young Oklahoma City rising from chaos, built by hands that refuse to wait for history to find them. C.A. McNabb's Flour and Feed Store, 1889. Two men stand beside the first retail building in Oklahoma City, a simple wooden shack marked Flour and Feed. Their wagon waits, horses restless in the dust. From such humble beginnings, commerce was born, feeding both settlers' hunger and the young city's unstoppable rise. Church and Harrah's Feed and Coal, Oklahoma City, 1889. At the corner of West Main Street, wagons wait by piles of lumber and coal under signs for Church and Harrah and Gloyd Lumber Co. The frontier's heartbeat was industry. Hammer strikes and shovel sounds echoing through a city still being born from the red dirt. Hotel Weaver, Oklahoma City, 1889. Freshly built along a muddy frontier street, the Hotel Weaver stood as a beacon of comfort for weary settlers. Ladies in white dresses and gentlemen in hats pause for the camera, symbols of civilization rising from raw land, where yesterday was wilderness and tomorrow promised prosperity. Cowboy Riot in Guthrie, 1889. A sea of hats and dust fills Guthrie streets during the notorious Cowboy Riot of 1889. Captured by photographer J.J. Hargrave, this chaotic scene reveals the tensions of a town born overnight, where lawmen, settlers, and cowboys clashed amid the fever of new beginnings.
North Guthrie, 1889. Freshly built storefronts rise from the dust as North Guthrie takes shape just weeks after the land run. Signs advertise goods and hope, while wagons wait in rutted streets. Captured by Mitchell and DeGroff, this image freezes the fragile birth of a frontier town in motion. After the famous land run, Guthrie, 1889. Just days after the famous land run, Guthrie bursts to life in a sea of tents and wagons. Newly arrived settlers stake claims, barter supplies, and carve order from chaos. In this fleeting moment, a raw camp transforms into Oklahoma's first capital. Sunday in Guthrie, 1889. Under the half-built frame of a new structure, settlers gather for a quiet Sunday after the chaos of the land run. Tools rest, hats come off, and for a moment, this newborn town breathes. Guthrie's skyline may be wood and dust, but its spirit already feels permanent. First Post Office, Oklahoma City, 1889. Three men stand proudly beside a modest wooden shack, the city's first post office on West Main Street. Lynn and Chase Beadler flank their father, Postmaster G.A. Beadler, as an American flag waves above. From this humble cabin, the mail began to connect a newborn city to the nation. Club Theater, Guthrie, 1889. Inside the modest club theater, Guthrie's first variety stage, wooden chairs face a simple curtain where pioneers gathered for laughter and song. Built soon after the land run, it offered settlers their first escape, proof that even on the frontier, art could bloom amid the dust. Boomer's Home, Oklahoma Territory, 1889.
A family stands proudly beside their rough dugout built of sod and timber scavenged from the prairie. A cow provides milk, and the open land stretches endlessly behind them. These early settlers, called boomers, claimed more than soil. They claimed a chance at belonging on untamed ground. Harrison Avenue, Guthrie, 1889. Only weeks after the land run, Guthrie's Harrison Avenue bustled with life. Rows of false front shops, handwritten signs, and hopeful settlers crowding the boardwalks. Every hammer strike echoed ambition. In these rough wooden storefronts, a capital city was being built from dreams, dust, and relentless determination. After the land run, Oklahoma City, 1889. Captured less than a month after the land run, this early view of Oklahoma City shows a sea of tents and wooden shacks stretching across open plains. From nothing but dust and ambition, settlers raised a city almost overnight, proof that the American frontier spirit was still alive and unstoppable.
National Bank, Guthrie, 1889. Only days after Guthrie's founding, a symbol of permanence rose from the dust, the National Bank. Built of sturdy brick while tents still filled the horizon, it embodied faith in the town's future. Farmers, merchants, and pioneers stood proudly outside, investing not just money, but hope in a new beginning. Santa Fe Railway Crew, Guthrie, 1887. Railroad men pause for a rare portrait outside a modest wooden depot. Their faces marked by sun and long days of laying track across unsettled land. Behind them, Guthrie begins to rise from the prairie, its first heartbeat powered by steam, grit, and hope. Barker's Store and Murphy Hotel, Darlington, 1886. A dusty crossroads in Darlington bustles with wagons and riders outside Barker's Store and the Murphy Hotel. Travelers pause beneath wooden balconies for shade and news. This early glimpse of frontier life captures a rare calm between commerce, conversation, and the relentless motion of the West. J.J. Phillips Dry Goods and Groceries, Atoka, 1878. In front of a sturdy wooden store, 6 men pause beneath the sign Wholesale and Retail Groceries. Among them stands Charles Minor Martin, remembered long after his passing that same year. This quiet photograph preserves both commerce and community in the heart of early Atoka. Ocmulgee, Indian Territory, 1875. Frederick Ballard Seavers stands before his cash store, a hub of trade and trust in the early frontier. Seavers, a rancher and builder, helped shape the towns of Ocmulgee and Muskogee, laying foundations for banks, businesses, and the first pulse of organized commerce in Indian Territory. Whistler's Trading Post, Indian Territory, 1875. One of the first buildings ever raised on this frontier, Whistler's Trading Post became a gathering place for settlers, traders, and drifters. The men in this photograph remain unknown, yet their presence marks the earliest pulse of commerce and community in the untamed Indian Territory. Time moved on, but the echoes of those first days still breathe through Oklahoma's winds. The dust has settled, the dreams remain. These were more than settlers, they were storytellers of the land itself. Would you trade today's comfort for their courage, even for one day beneath that boundless sky?